Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. You're the scum of the earth.
You don't doubt me, so I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Leveling. Pound for pound. Headshot dead. That's it.
There's guys out there that are doing this day in and day out. They live and breathe this stuff that they don't get the recognition or credit that they deserve.
What is the secret to fighting?
Not being a fucking pussy. Honestly, you can teach anybody how to fight. But like, if you're a fucking pussy, that's a really hard thing to teach someone not to be.
What it do, dog?
Yo, what's happening?
Oh, man, you know, trying to recover from last night's shenanigans per usual.
No doubt.
Dude, so we're back, episode 54 of the Over the Octagon podcast. We're going to be recapping today part one of the fight night from last night, DirtyyyBird versus Imavov. I think there was a lot of shocking wins and some nice knockouts, and then a lot of fights that you were just like, what the fuck? That could have, we could have done without those. So, but we'll highlight those in part one, and then we'll kind of, go into part two. So if you're listening to part one right now, there will be a part two where we will go over this upcoming fight night as well next week. So, yeah, Murky, I know you were like the main guy watching last night. Me and Nick decided to be idiots thinking, yeah, man, we're going to go out and watch the fights. We went out to Buffalo Wild Wings and they were like, nah, we're not showing the fights. And
yeah, that's a disgrace.
It's a slap in the face. And you know what they had the nerve to say? Fuck you, Buffalo Wild Wings, by the way. They had the nerve to say that UFC fights bring out a weird crowd and they don't like showing them in the building. Yeah, so, fucking liberals, dude. I'm telling you.
Like, they don't like the UFC fan base of Buffalo Wild Wings anymore?
You're not even a bar. You're just a restaurant with a bar. You're not like a damn, pub. And you tell me I can't even have my gun on me in a damn restaurant. Fuck you for that. And then now you're telling me I can't watch violence on TV, but you have fucking cricket playing in the corner? Like, you guys suck.
But what happened to Buffalo Wild Wings, man?
Losers, bro.
What happened to them?
Losers. They used to be so cool. Everybody's like, let's go to beat ups, man. Let's watch some football fights, all that shit back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah, now they're a bunch of fucking pink-haired weirdos who make shitty chicken wings, dude. Fuck, man. I hated it. It pissed me off. But then we had to wait 30 minutes only to find that out to get seated. And then I literally was like on my phone. Like I had my phone up with the fights on, kind of watching them while I was hanging out with all the homies. But at that point, I just had to go back and rewatch them all. But I got to see all the fights, so we're good. We're on pace to be able to talk about whatever. But yeah, I'll kind of let you start. I know you were here for most of the prelims and the main card, and I know the prelims had some decent fights on them. So whichever ones you want to highlight.
Yeah, I mean,
fire, baby.
Yeah, like there was a couple. They were all really pretty good fights, I think. I don't like the heavyweight fight that started it was awesome. Quinones and Medeiros, that was great. Luana Carolina with a knockout in the late third round was awesome.
Can we pause for 1 second on that fight?
Yeah.
So if everyone has been listening to our podcast, we've been very advocates of making women's MMA great again. This fight right here was a pure example of why women's MMA is shit. Dog shit. Because fuck both of these guys. They both should be cut from the roster. We'll just say that right off the rip. But Storolenko, you were my first bet of the night. And you looked like you got your ass whooped. Like, Carolina beat the shit out of her. Carolina was the one that got knocked out by Molly McCain, who we'll talk about here in a little bit. Storolenko is the one who submitted Molly McCain, who we'll talk about in a little bit. So when at first, I think I made a tweet about it. How bad is Molly McCain? Well, continue.
Yeah, so Luana, and then so the first, I feel like, story of UFC Vegas 85 last night was Themba Gorimbo. 30-second knockout against Pete Rodriguez. Just a right hand from God. Just clubbed him.
He's special, man. He's got a lot.
Sent him to the shadow realm. Yeah, I think, Themba, uh, is just an awesome human being. I think for people that don't know the story of Themba Gorimbo, it circulated all over ESPN not too long ago. When he met Dwayne the Rock Johnson, um, and it came to find out that Themba had $7 in his bank account. He was sleeping at the gym. He's from Zimbabwe. All of the money that he basically has gotten paid from fights and from winning fights and bonuses and all those sorts of things, he has sent back to Zimbabwe, and built clean water wells and pumps and things like that. So, I mean, he's just an amazing person. And The Rock, I guess, helped him out and got him a place to live and whatever. So just a really cool story. And so you had that awesome story, and we see those kind of storylines all the time in the UFC.
Yeah.
But to see somebody with such a great story like that and then come out to their fight and actually deliver with a 30-second knockout was just incredible. It was just incredible. He's an awesome human being. Seems like a great fighter. We look forward to seeing what happens with him in the future. I think he's on the rise. I think he definitely has the talent. He's definitely got the attributes, the length, to do well at the 70-pound division. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
man.
like you said, is this his story is so good. It's hard not to like a guy like that and not root for
Yeah.
him. So you just want to see a guy like that be successful, and then coming out there and getting it done as quickly and as nice as he did. I mean, it's only going to make his career path that much better. So everyone will look back on that time where he was just a up and comer making a name for himself, getting big wins like that, and then eventually he'll get to the point where he'll be getting top 10, top 15 fights and then getting a real chance to prove himself. So,
Yeah, he made comments last night. I guess he doesn't see himself going the traditional route of climbing the rankings.
he was like,
and
I
he
want
made
to fight Leon Edwards. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, patience.
Well, I think his thought process is he wants to be champion this year,
Mhm.
and his thought process is, stuff comes up all the time, short notice fights.
Sure.
I mean, we saw that happen with Strickland, right? Like Strickland got the belt on a short notice opportunity and took advantage of it. So, I mean, we've seen wilder stuff.
True.
I don't know.
I mean,
We'll see what happens.
there's possibility. I mean, there's always a road to somewhere that leads somewhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, is it likely? No. I
No,
mean, he's
right.
not. Let's be realist here. Let's be real fighting fans here. There is 100 Garimbos in the UFC who can knock you out with a nice, powerful punch, look clean, fight good. But there's not a lot of personalities like him or people who have, but there are a lot of people with stories too. You can't take away people's stories. Yeah, he has a good one,
true.
so he's living a good life. Like, he's got good things going, so he's kind of like, his name is there, but all it takes is for him to lose one fight, unfortunately, and then all of that kind of goes away in the world of MMA. People start looking at you differently. They'll say stuff about you. You'll lose your credibility. So if he ever wants that to happen, he's going to have to continuously win and win and win and win. He can't lose because there's hundreds of him out there. I mean, he's not like a superstar. He's good, but he's not a superstar. So,
well, and that's what I was saying. Like, there's a lot of those stories, right? Or a lot of stories people have,
Sure.
but it's not often where those people get to come out and then put on the type of performance that he did last night.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? So that elevates it so much more where you have all this kind of buzz around your name. Not so much hype, but just the buzz from the story and how inspiring his story is and just how genuine of a human being he is. And then a 30-second knockout. Like, it doesn't get better than under 1 minute knockouts. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
I agree. I mean, the thing is like, good things happen to good people. And if he stays and continues to be a good guy like he is and does the good deeds and does the good things in life, then good things will continue happening to him. I'm a firm believer in that. So, but yeah, man, shout out to him for what he does for his community, his people back home, all over the world. Just good story all around. So he's got my respect, and I definitely will root for him for the remainder of his career.
Themba Gorimbo, man, you have lifetime fans from the Over the Octagon podcast.
For sure.
Lifetime fans. So like, I mentioned to you earlier, I didn't necessarily want to dive deep in each and every one of these. I feel like the next kind of storyline, like it was a really good fight between Azat and Charles Johnson, and Charles Johnson pulled out the decision in the end.
Yep.
Taking away Azat Maksum 0. So it turns out Azat Maksum, who was one of the heavier favorites on the card last night, is not Shavkat Rakhmonov, even though they're both from Kazakhstan. Charles Johnson, man, shout out to him. He's a warrior. He dug deep and fucking made that shit happen. But then, yeah, man. So then your featured prelim of the fight or of the night featured potentially maybe the next women's strawweight champion.
Fuck no.
Is it possible?
No.
Molly,
not possible.
Molly the Slim Jim McCann.
No.
We shed the meatball. Now we got Molly the Slim Jim McCann coming for that strawweight title.
It's gross to even
What,
hear.
dude? Are you kidding me?
No, she will not be the strawweight champ. Do you realize who the strawweight champ is?
Strawweight champ is
Wei Li,
Rosso, right? Oh, Wei Li, right? Yeah,
bro.
Yeah,
No
Molly chokes out Wei Li, dude. First round choke out.
No.
She might hit her with that arm bar that she just hit Belbita with.
Nah, you're tripping.
So here's one good thing, because not huge Molly McCann fan. Molly Slim Jim McCann. I'm not a big fan of Slim Jim Molly McCann, but this may give us Diana Belbita's OnlyFans now. Maybe she will now retire and she'll drop an OnlyFans.
See, so as we're trying to make it great again, I think we're really just rooting for all of the hot women's MMA fighters to lose, so they just go and start OnlyFans.
It's a win-win for all of us, really. You know what I mean? Because they're not great fighters. So we get them out and away from fighting, and then into the content that everybody really wants to see. Where they can just start promoting their OnlyFans, and then then we're left with like the Wei Li's and the Cyborgs and the men of their division, and women's MMA will be great again.
I think that piques our question. I think that piques our question from the other day. Whose OnlyFans would you rather subscribe to, Jessica Andrade or Chris Cyborgs?
Yeah, well, I said Andrade.
I think there's just no good answer there. I think you just have to run.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose. That's a lose-lose.
That's a lose-lose situation. But let's be real here, though. With this Molly McCann thing, all jokes aside,
right?
Do you truly think that she's competitive, or she's good enough to beat top 15 strawweight caliber? When you're looking at your top 15 right now, you have number 15 is Gillian Robertson, who's elite grappler, just coming off a big win.
I think she can beat Gillian Robertson.
You think so?
I don't think she's that good.
Okay.
She just beat Pollyanna, right?
What about Tabitha Ricci at number 11?
Okay, at 11, that's tough now. But see, now we're starting.
Lupi Godinez at number 10.
Yeah.
Amanda Ribas at number 8. Mackenzie Dern at 7. Like there's so many good strawweights in that top 12.
So what you're saying is the 115-pound division in the UFC is the best women's division.
As of right now,
I mean, that's got to be the deepest.
Top 15, yes.
Top 15.
If you're looking, I don't know, man. I mean, the flyweight division's good too. The strawweight and flyweight women's division is not bad. I mean, you got Grasso, Shevchenko, Blanchfield, Fior. You have Macy Barbers, Natalia Silva, who we saw last night. You have Tracy Cortez, Casey O'Neill. Like, they're good women, and now who just breached the top 15. Jasmine Jodavita, or whatever. Judavicius, yeah. So she's in the flyweight division. So strawweight and flyweight are great, but I mean, when you get to the bantamweight, the bantamweight's just like dookie, bro.
Yeah, so here's the reality. So we don't really know, right? We don't really know Molly McCann. Molly McCann was smaller than the chick she was fighting last night at a weight class lower.
Yeah.
So she's been fighting women much, much bigger than her at 125 pounds. So now we see her drop down to 115. She looked like, she looked cut up, man.
She
looked ripped. She looked in incredible shape. It didn't look like she was cutting too much weight, right?
Agree.
She didn't look tired or drained. She looked awesome. So, I mean, Belbita's not the greatest maybe measuring stick of where you are in the division, but
No.
she has phenomenal kickboxing. So, you go in there and basically you out grappled a kickboxer.
True.
So then you get into these rankings that you're talking about with starting to deal with some of these grapplers in the top 15 of that division. We'll have to see. But I just, like I said, new weight class, it's like new year, new me. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
just for the podcast's sake, if you're listening to this, Murky did pick Belbita and talked me out of taking Molly by submission because he swears and looked and said neither one of these bitches have gotten submissions in their whole career.
It's true.
And then guess what?
That was true.
My gut was
Yeah,
right.
but
My gut was right.
the fight. That's the fight game, bro. I
My
don't know
gut
what to
was
tell
right.
you. That's what happens when you bet on women's MMA,
Yeah.
which is your fault.
Yep. Yes, it is. You're right.
Because I took Belbita in round 1 just because it was like some crazy odds. Like I just sprinkled a little on that crazy odds. But that's what happens when you bet on women's MMA. That's your fault. Eventually you'll learn your fucking lesson. Probably not.
Dude, I'm
Probably
a degenerate, bro. I'll never learn my lesson. Gambling's in my blood. I lose money every day. It's never gonna happen. So,
but I do think I just think it's exciting. Like Molly was on a 2-fight losing streak. She lost badly. She lost at Madison Square Garden, and then she lost in England, right? And they were like embarrassing losses. So for her to kind of bounce back in a new division this way, I think she really took time, recentered herself, and refocused. I don't know how far she can go, right? But I mean, man, if she looked fucking great last night. So,
sure.
The redemption story is on the thumbnail. We've ditched the Meatball Molly. Meatball Molly, we left that in the past, and now coined by Laura Sanko last night during the broadcast, it's now Molly Slim Jim McCann. So shout out to Laura.
Before we go to the main card, I want to add something because I feel like it would be almost disrespectful not to say. Jang Yong Lee, the Korean Tiger, is fucking him, bro.
Okay.
He is him. Watch and listen. Come back to this podcast in 2 years and remember that name because that motherfucker is him. I'm telling you, he's good. What I saw last night, that guy has incredible skill. Incredible skill. The way he threw that knee coming out of the clinch was the most perfected, beautiful thing I've ever seen from a fighter. Like this guy is him, bro. I'm telling you. And now we can go to the main card. But I didn't want to go on. I didn't want to go into the main card without putting a little respect on the Korean Tiger,
at least
bro.
acknowledging that.
Yeah,
I respect
he's
it.
him, bro.
I respect it. All right, so then main card we start off with Charles the F-bomb dropper Ratke.
Ronnie Ratke, brother.
Yeah, so like, all right, so both of you and I both, right? We kind of grew up and came up listening to pop punk music and the Warped Tour days and all of those kinds of things, right? And obviously, like I follow Ronnie Ratke on Twitter. If you don't, anybody who's listening to this, if you don't follow Ronnie Ratke on Twitter, do yourself a fucking favor. It's fucking amazing. It's just awesome. But I think him and Charles Ratke probably share some similar views. Charles Ratke, the fighter, obviously his name is spelled differently. It has a T in there, but looking like Apollo Creed, R.I.P. is what I put on my notes. Sounds like Ronnie Ratke looks like Apollo Creed because
his striking, man, that left that he caught him with, I don't know how Urbina ate that shit. The first
he hit him a few times.
Yeah, well, when he dropped him that first time and Urbina was able to get back up again and like fight for another like 30 seconds, bro, I thought he was out cold when he caught that left.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing, Charles Ratke's 2-0 in the UFC. Both times has been amazingly entertaining in the Octagon interview afterwards. I think his first time is when he dropped the F-bomb and called everybody in Canada a bunch of bundle of sticks and
a bunch of cigarette
sticks. Yeah. So, but he's 2-0 in the UFC, man. You know, and he looks good. The only problem I see with him is when you start again, this is the 170-pound division. You start climbing those rankings, your only
Oh, buddy.
weapon your only weapon can't be a left hand.
Sure the hell can't.
It just can't. It's not going to work. You're not going to go far. But either way, I mean, round 1 knockout, great striking. Um, you know, if nothing else, entertaining as hell
Sure.
on the mic after the fight, man. So shout out to Charles Racky. But yeah, it looks like or sounds like Ronnie Racky looking like Apollo Creed. I love it.
I
Good
hate it
for
for the
him.
next fight because I was actually, I mean, I was kind of rooting for at least some sort of a finish, but to get
Yeah.
like that first round, like thumb in the eye, like that was pretty
The
bad. It
no
was bad too,
contest.
you know.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Thumb in the eye. Again, I'm about to turn this podcast episode into just like a Laura Senko simp episode.
Hey, go ahead, bro. I'm
Dude,
simping.
brother, she's so good.
Yeah,
She's
I
so
agree.
good. Like and I put this on Twitter. I tweeted this. I mean it with like no disrespect. Okay. But we should never have Dominic Cruz over Larasenko ever again.
I agree.
It's like it's just absolutely insane. I want her on more pay-per-views. I want, you know, her and you know, Anik and DC or her and Anik and Rogan or whatever. Like whenever Rogan's not there, why not have it be her,
Larasenko.
Anik, and DC? I feel like that's the fucking dream team.
I think she's ready for the big leagues. I mean, she's getting
done
better.
it.
She's getting better.
She's
and
already
bet-
done it.
She's getting better and better every pay-per-view or every fight she does. And
Yep.
it's only
She's
a matter
already
of
done
time
one.
where
I
she
think
does
she's only.
the.
I
does
think
the
she's only
pay-per-view.
done the pay-per-view once.
I don't know if she has. I think she's only done fight
She
nights.
has. No, she definitely has. I remember it. It was the first time. Like I know for a fact. I can't
Oh,
remember
you're
which.
right. It was the last
Or
card of
DC.
It was the last card of January or December. It was
Strickland's
Strickland.
fight.
Yeah, it was Strickland.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but she was great, dude. And because okay, so as that pertains, we're getting a little off topic, simping on Larasenko,
It's
but
okay,
as that
bro.
pertains to the no contest, like she made a phenomenal medical observation of the thumb in the eye and what happens.
Corneal abrasion, bro. I've had one
Corneal
myself.
abrasion.
The shit suck.
So she made a great point that, you know, the muscles in your eye basically force your eye to shut and they will not relax enough for it to open. So just unfortunate for these two guys. Thumb in the eye. It was obviously accidental the way his hand was coming up and his head was going down. And I mean, it's what happens, man. But it was deep in his eye.
Dude, something that made me think about this video I saw the other day. I know this is a little off topic from this fight, but when you said thumb in the eye, I was like, I think I'd rather have a thumb in the eye than a toe in the butt. Did you see that video of the guy who kicked that guy right in his butt and put his thumb right in his ass or his toe right in his asshole, dude? I saw it. Shit, that guy was like, whoa, like
that's got to be an illegal. That's got to be an illegal.
Kicked him right in the butthole, dude. I was like, oh my god, that shit was fucking hilarious, bro.
So we're not letting people kicked downed opponents, but we're letting them fucking do that.
Kick them right in the butthole. Like, well, this was a different. It was a different organization. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Still, the rules are the rules. Like MMA rules or whatever.
I think it varies based on organization too. Because
not if they're using like the unified rules of MMA or whatever it is. Like various states, they're about to change it in California. They were having this whole conversation about
I think
that
it has
night.
something to do with there's certain technicalities though, because like when ONE FC comes to Atlanta, they're not gonna they don't have to follow UFC rules. They have their own rules for their own fights, you know? So I mean I think it just is a matter of like I think it's organization based too.
Yeah, but that's also their MMA rules are similar though. There's like one or two different things they do, right? In ONE FC, because that's primarily Muay Thai, which is obviously different.
Yeah.
But their mixed martial arts rules, I feel like, are pretty similar. Is there any big differences in ONE FC?
Yeah, you can knee a down opponent.
You can knee a down opponent.
Yeah.
See, so then I don't know what's I don't know what makes the difference there, but whatever. Either way, no toes and assholes. That
No
should
toes and
be
assholes, dude.
yeah. That should be.
I just thought that video was fucking hilarious, dude. He did
It
the good
was,
old
yeah.
check the oil, but with the toe.
Oof. All right, let's talk about your girl a
Oh
little bit,
yeah,
man.
My future prospect, dude. Future champ Natalia Silva, bro. She is lightning, bro. Lightning
Yep.
in the cage, man. She's fast, she's quick, she's accurate. She might not be the most powerful, but dude, just the way she connects her strikes, like her combinations are just great. She started out a little nervous. Like you saw kind of her being just a little nervous at the beginning, but once she started getting like into the groove, like she was just piecing her up, man, the whole entire fight. And now she's going to be top 10. I mean, she'll be a top 10 ranked women's rank in the women's ranking. And then now she'll get a big fight. So, I mean, she's number 9 right now, or she was number 9. I'm sorry. She was in the top 10. She was number 9. Now she just beat number 7. So she's going to potentially get a top 5 fight now, which is huge for her and much deserved. Should we go ahead and put that future in?
Yeah,
For the 2024 women's flyweight champ, Natalia Silva. I don't know, man.
Possible. Let's look at some stats. Let's look at some numbers. All right, because Natalia Silva's record is 17-5-1 after last night.
Yeah, but you know how the 5 came, right?
So right, okay, so that's what I'm about to get into. So it's that her record is a little misleading.
It is,
and I don't think I don't think her record really reflects her talent. Okay, because Natalia Silva is 5-0 in the UFC. She's also on an 11-fight win streak.
Yep.
She has not lost a fight since 2017. All right. So she hasn't lost a fight in 6.5 years. She's on 11 fight win streak. She's 5-0 in the UFC. You made the point, which I agree. And I saw our boy Joe Giannetti made a comment on Twitter too about her speed. Like, dude, her striking is just insane. It's so fast. Here's a couple other because you mentioned this person as well, and we just saw her fight in January, Jasmine Judavicius.
Yeah.
Natalia Silva has already beaten her, and we saw how fucking good she looked in her last fight.
And her last loss in 2017 was to Marina Rodriguez, who is currently the number 6 strawweight in the UFC. So, and this was pre-UFC for her.
Right. Yeah, I think she's going to get that one back at some point if she doesn't just jump her in the rankings completely.
Well, Marina Rodriguez is a strawweight. She's a flyweight, so.
Oh, okay, they moved division.
Yeah.
But still. So, yeah, I think I think she has a bright future. Like I said, I think the biggest thing to take away is when you look at these fighters at face value, and just looking at like the tail of the tape, as they call it, right? Her record does not reflect talent. All of her losses and the draw came super early on in her career.
Yep.
Like I said, an 11-fight win streak, bro, is insane. That's insane.
It's great.
5-0, undefeated in the UFC. She also beat Andrea Lee, which is like a good win for her. So she's got wins over Judavicius and Andrea Lee. Now Araujo, It wouldn't be a podcast without butchering at least one name. Araujo. So yeah, I mean, she looks incredible, man, and I think there's a bright future for her for sure.
Agreed.
All right, so then she's actually, I'll say this too, just in passing, and then we'll move on. She's actually one of the better looking women's fighters that I'm actually rooting to win and not lose and start an OnlyFans. Even though if she were to go on a 5-fight losing streak and quit the UFC and start an OnlyFans, I would be fine. I would be completely fine.
I think she just looks too innocent for that. Like she just
I know,
looks too
she does.
innocent.
She looks like such a sweet girl.
Like,
I agree.
She's not that type.
No doubt.
But
then you go on. You got Randy Brown versus Muslim Saklavov. Muslim is like 87 years old.
Yeah.
But he's a warrior. He stepped in. These guys were supposed to fight last year.
Yep.
And Randy Brown got pneumonia. So during his weight cut, he got pneumonia. So they both agreed to table it and come back and fight at a later date. So here we are. We're at the later date. They square off in the octagon. And yeah, Randy Brown may have hit the cleanest 1-1-2 I have ever seen. That shit was disgusting.
I will say this, and I'm gonna be a hater right now, so
Okay.
this wouldn't be our podcast without me fucking talking shit about somebody.
Right.
I'll be honest, it was a very clean 1-1-2, but it was also the 30th attempt of the 1-1-2 that landed, because the other 29 of them did not. That's all he threw the whole fight. 1-1-2, 1-1-2, 1-1-2, the whole fight. And then finally,
Well, he
fucking
threw the
caught him.
jab. So I don't think that's correct, because
Go back and
they were
watch.
setting up. I will. They were setting up that combo specifically. He threw the jab. He threw 1-2s a lot. He was throwing the jab the entire fight, which is busted up Muslim's face so bad. Was just the jab. And they were calling his right before he threw it. His coach was yelling
know.
out, and he said, "Yeah, I see it. So it's not. I don't think that that's correct. There was, I know he had thrown. They were calling for him to extend that combination a little bit. And the way that he tailed off to the left as he threw that right hand is what made it land so accurately and perfect. It was great knockout. Again, I mean,
maybe he was setting it up for that, but he definitely threw that faint overhand right. That faint.
Well,
right,
even those two
faint
jabs
right,
that he
like the whole time.
even those two jabs that he threw out there on that combination that ended up ending the fight were really, there was nothing behind them. They were just like little slap
just
jabs.
bop.
He just kind of threw out to set up that right hand. But he landed that, I mean, absolutely beautiful. But whatever. I mean, it was a super clean combination. Great knockout. Randy Brown's on a 3-fight win streak as well.
Sure. And then you got to think too, man. There was a big disadvantage in this fight for Salikov. Dude, he was like 4 or 5 inches shorter. Huge reach disadvantage. Like Randy Brown just looked way bigger than him. So it's like
huge. Yeah.
I mean, for him to get that to land that strike, it's not unlikely, because he just had that advantage, you know?
Yeah, he did what he should have and was supposed to do.
Sure.
And what he's really good at, which is work off the jab and work behind the jab.
Yep.
And he threw it to perfection. I mean, there's a lot of guys, and they talk a lot about, like, boxing people specifically talk about the jab not getting used enough in MMA.
Yep.
Not with Randy Brown, like similar to Strickland. Like Strickland's another one that uses the jab really well. Randy Brown used it perfectly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. If that's what works and that's all you need to get somebody out of there, then I'm all for it. His last loss, he's on a 2-fight win streak. His last loss came to JDM.
Yep.
By decision.
Yep.
Now I know JDM's got a fight coming up, but I think Randy Brown gets a ranked opponent.
Ain't gonna be JDM.
No. JDM has a fight already lined up, right? He's about to fight
Gilbert Burns.
Right. So, but I think, depending on what happens with Randy Brown and where he goes, I think that's a fight, we could see run back later on in the future.
Sure.
Right. Like that's one of those things where you have to see how everything shakes out. You never know, but a fight that happens early on in these guys' careers, and then 2 or 3 years down the line again, where now they're top 5 or whatever in their respective divisions, running that back has a little bit more interest and carries a little bit more weight. So I definitely see that thing coming, but Muslim's 94 years old, and but still, shout out to him for getting in there, man.
Yep. But we can hit the co-main and the main real quick before we wrap up episode 1, or part 1 of this week's episodes. Moicano and Drew Dober. I had a lot of money on Dober by knockout. Obviously, that did not happen, but he was getting wrestle fucked the whole fight. The whole entire fight, bro. He couldn't do anything about it, bro. He was just getting grappled the whole entire fight. It was just he never had a chance.
If he could stay on his feet, he was winning.
Yep.
Like if he could stay on his feet, he was winning.
He cut Moicano up too. Like he was bleeding out his eye pretty bad.
I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure there was like a accidental clash of heads that cut Moicano on the side of which side I forget, but on the side of his head really bad.
Could
That's
have
where a
been.
majority of that came from, I think, because they warned him about. I think the ref saw it and made a comment like as soon as it happened. That was
Yeah.
like, "Watch your heads," because they clashed. It cut Moicano pretty bad, but it didn't stop him or slow him down.
Yeah.
But Dober was landing and was winning the battle on the feet. He just
He couldn't
can't wrestle.
No.
He just can't wrestle.
He could not wrestle. I agree. But I will say this. I mean, shout out to Moicano. He ended the fight, or he ended up winning the fight unanimously, and then put on probably one of the top 5 best post-fight speeches of all time. I mean, if you don't like that guy, if you don't like him after what he said, I mean, it's hard to, and then you're just a liberal. It's plain and simple.
There's a lot of those people, probably those reporters up in Canada that were grilling Sean Strickland, probably don't like Moicano either.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope he gets everything he wants in life, bro. I hope he fucking goes home and fucks his wife and has a baby like he said he was gonna.
Yep.
Since
I hope
his
he becomes a
62-year-old.
cop.
Yeah,
I hope he kills the bad guys. Everything.
Yeah, he wants to once he gets his citizenship in the United States in 2 years, he wants to be on the SWAT team and kill bad guys. I hope he fucking does that and crushes it.
I love it.
Great. It was an awesome fucking interview. He talks shit on MMA Guru.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think MMA Guru, he's taken it. He took it and ran with it, which if he talked shit about us, I would have done the same thing. Like he like took it and ran with it, and he's like, now he's like trying to like be like, oh, that's fuck yeah, I love you, Moicano. You fucking now made me even better, bigger than I was.
Yeah.
He called him a fat. What do you call him? A fat pig.
Yeah. He said he's gonna catch him on the street though.
Yeah.
Which I hope that does happen.
Dude, have you seen MMA Guru though?
Yeah, he's huge,
He's
right?
fucking massive, dude. The guy is not a fat pig by any means, dude. He's a big motherfucker. I just happened to see that picture, but yeah, no. Shout out to Moicano, America. Fuck yeah, go become a SWAT officer and then kill the bad guys, bro. We're all here for it.
I love when people, and he said, I'm not from this country, but I love this country.
Yep, I love it too.
I love when people like that, man. He's taken an opportunity that he's had through the UFC to come into this country legally, which is obviously a big controversial topic of discussion around today's current events. And he's doing everything the right way. He's seizing his opportunities, doing that the right way. And he's going to make an incredible life for himself, his family, and for generations of his family to come. And nothing to hate on about that.
Not at all.
I fucking love that dude. Similar to Themba Giambo, Moicano, you have a fan of me for the rest of my life. I fucking love you.
Based on record, it looks like Drew Dober is like the male version of Jessica Andrade.
Yeah.
Like 27-13. She's like 28-15.
Yeah.
Like, and they're both in the ranked. Like, but let's be real here. Dober should not be a top 15 ranked now that he's lost again. We need Matt Frevola back in the top 15. Get that steamroller back in the top 15, you freaking losers.
I know. I mean, it's crazy. Like, Matt Frevola's last loss was against
BSD.
Saint Denis. Right, who's about to fight Dustin fucking Poirier.
Yeah.
And but Steamroller's not a top 15 guy. Like I disagree with that.
Yeah, so I did too.
We'll have to see him get another fight soon and get it popping.
And then now we just hit on this main event real quick and wrap up part 1. The Dolidze Imavov. To be honest, the Dolidze did not impress me really. All he did was just back him up against the cage the whole entire fight. I mean, that's all he did. He landed a couple of strikes, but Imavov won that fight single-handedly pretty easily. He dominated it. The highlight of this thing is the judge who scored it a draw. Like, if we're really calling that fight a draw, then what the fuck is this guy doing?
It was a draw because of a point deduction.
It shouldn't even have been, even with that, it shouldn't have been. You got
right.
It was
scored, a 5-round fight. Right.
Yeah,
so
it
wasn't that
49-44 by one judge, 48-46 by another judge, or 46-48 by one judge, 44-49 another judge, and then a draw by the third judge. Like that's just 3 different completely different judges
I
who
agree.
scored that
Well,
fight
it's just
weirdly. So,
it's just
and
another
Dolidze just got
instance.
dominated, bro.
Yeah, it's just another instance to where we have problematic judging in the UFC, where it doesn't seem like it just seems like it's I don't know, so like up for debate and like how like why can we not have like clear cut, this is what
Judging.
this is. Yeah, it's all up for interpretation and everybody can have different viewpoints on it. And obviously they're human beings, so then they have, certain biases whether they will acknowledge that or not. That's a fucking fact. And that always plays a huge part, always plays a huge part in this.
I agree. So, but yeah, Imavov, big win by him. This is going to give him a big shot next.
Yeah.
Possibly the rematch against Chris Curtis, who just
I was
came
gonna
off.
say
who
they
just came
almost
off
did
a
it last
win.
night.
I know. That was pretty awesome. So maybe he gets that rematch with Chris Curtis, or even something even bigger. I mean, Dolidze was a ranked opponent, and Imavov's already ranked as well. So maybe we see a even higher fight for him next. So
Yep.
because that is a. Yeah, so he's number 11. Maybe we see,
Imavov.
yeah, and Dolidze was number 8. So maybe we see Marvin Vettori, Imavov.
Yeah, he lost to Vittori already, I think.
Yeah,
Or Dolidze, I think, lost to
Dolidze
Vittori.
did.
I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think you beat that guy. Yeah, I think now you're starting to get into that upper echelon in the middleweights.
Because everybody else is kind of booked right now. I mean, Brennan Allen's fighting. Who's he fighting again?
What's Brennan Allen? 7?
7. Yeah, who's he fighting?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he had a big fight coming up. Oh, he just had a big fight. He just beat Paul Craig.
I was about to say, yeah, that's how I thought.
So maybe we see Imavov Allen.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be a good fight. I think Allen's probably eyeing something higher than that.
Yeah, but he's not
be honest.
I mean, what's he gonna eye though? I mean, you got Izzy and Strickland who are 1 and 2. Whitaker is about to fight Paulo Costa, so you're gonna have to see either the loser of that maybe, and then or Vettori. And we gotta stop forgetting about Jared Cannonier though. Like he's gonna have to get a fight, but that's not gonna be until at least April or May when he can return. So.
Yeah, well, we have the next a lot of fights kind of announced and booked out already, so I think we're looking into that April and May time period anyway. So yeah, Cannonier's got to get a fight, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, he was injured though. He was injured,
Yeah.
so but he's back.
Been
He's
gone
ready.
for a while.
He'll get a fight. He deserves to get it. He deserves a big fight next. I mean, he's got to win over Sean Strickland. He deserves it, man. Give him the
Brennan Allen fight's interesting. Brennan Allen and Cannonier, that's interesting. I don't know if it doesn't benefit Cannonier at all, really.
No, it doesn't. Cannonier does not need to fight back. They need to give him one more chance at a number 1 contender fight, and then
but you're not gonna get that, dude. It's too crowded up there.
Yeah, but
it's fucking crowded up there.
Yeah, but he's on a 2-fight win streak. He beat Sean Strickland and he beat Marvin Vettori, and then he got injured.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him just because he got hurt. I mean, you got to give him a number 1 contender fight.
You can. They can do whatever the fuck they want,
dude. Fuck that.
You can't. You're not just okay, dude. Whatever. I'm just saying, like, you can do that, and they will do that because it's crap. Now you have Strickland, Izzy, Duplessis, which is like a clusterfuck of who's gonna fight for the title next.
Yeah, which is fine. So whoever doesn't fight for the title fights Jared Cannonier.
But then you have Whitaker Costa.
Okay.
Who Whitaker just lost to the champ. And then so let's say Whitaker wins that. So then do you do Whitaker Cannonier, or you're saying Cannonier gets a title shot before that?
No, I'm saying so Duplessis will fight he'll either get the rematch with Strickland or he'll fight Izzy. That's gonna happen. Okay. Right. So if that happens, then the number 1 contender fight should be Cannonier versus whoever didn't get the title shot. Then the winner of that fight fights the winner of Bobby
Yeah,
Knuckles.
they fight for the title. That's what a number one contender fight is.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Yes, we'll fight for the title, and then
that's my point, though. So then, where does that leave Robert Whitaker and Costa? That's what I'm saying. You're getting crowded. You get crowded up in that you're starting to get crowded up there to where, like, an injury is not necessarily his fault, and it's not fair that he's going to get left out. But he's going to get left out.
How can you give a title shot to the winner of Whitaker and Costa when Whitaker's coming off of a loss and Costa hasn't fought in over a year?
I'm not saying you will. I'm saying we're talking about him fighting backwards.
Yeah, Cannonier shouldn't have to fight backwards.
Shouldn't have to. It's not fair, but fucking life's not fair. He got hurt. I don't think beat Brendan Allen, and then fucking.
That's the thing, though. He doesn't need to because he's already beaten Sean Strickland, who was the champ, and he's already beaten Marvin Vettori, who's higher ranked than Brendan Allen. So why the fuck should he have to beat Brendan Allen too? He's already beat 2 guys that are in the top 7.
Because he hasn't fought in so long.
It's only been like 5 months.
Yeah. Well, still, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just saying, a lot has happened in that division, bro.
I mean, it's been 6 months. He fought in June. That was his last fight.
Okay, so it's been 8 months. A lot has happened in that division since his last fight. A lot has happened. A lot has happened.
And then he lost a 5-round decision to Izzy.
All Strickland did, bro, by winning the title is completely clusterfucked the top of that division. Like, it completely fucking threw a wrench and then lose it right away. That's really what did it. If he would have beat DDP and retained, it wouldn't be as convoluted as it is right now. But because he beat Izzy, and with Izzy being the dominant champion he was, beat Izzy, then turns around and loses it right away to DDP, it just makes the top 3, 4, 5 of that division so... Like, I mean, there's so many different directions you can go. I'm not saying you're wrong.
All right, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to tell you right now, and then we're going to wrap this part 1 up.
Probably not going to go this way, but go ahead.
This is how it's going to go. So DDP is going to fight Izzy. Strickland's not going to get it's going to go Robert Whitaker, Paulo Costa. Winner of that fights Jared Cannonier. Sean Strickland's going to fight Brendan Allen.
Yeah, maybe.
And then...
Maybe. Strickland will fight whoever. Yeah. So that's possible.
I see Strickland Allen as a better fight, more entertaining fight. And then Robert Whitaker's already got a win over Jared Cannonier. So if Robert Whitaker wins, you do the rematch with Cannonier for the number 1 contender. Winner then fights for the next round of the title. But then again, if Izzy does beat Duplessis, then you got a whole nother fucking whirlwind of, well, then do you run back Duplessis Strickland since it was so close for the number 1 contender to fight Izzy again? It's just a lot of fucking.
I mean, you could do Strickland Cannonier too. You could run that shit right back.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, Strickland probably wants to get that one back. That would put Cannonier right at the top of the list if he beats Strickland. I mean, that's a true number 1 contender fight if I've ever seen one. Now, everything can change week to week. Everything can change because if, let's say, Robert Whitaker goes out and starches Paulo Costa, just fucking like round 1 beats the dog piss out of him, knocks him out. Then it's like, all right, well, maybe there's more to that injury and that loss to DDP than people thought, and he needs to be more in that conversation than people are kind of like letting him slip away, So I just think it makes it, I don't know, it can change so much, bro. Like, anything can happen, and it changes so much week to week based on who wins and how they win and all of that.
Yeah.
What's popular, who people want to see. You know what I mean?
Life's not fair. So if Brendan Allen wants to fight that top 7, it's going to be up to the UFC, and if they want to put Imavov against Brendan Allen next, then they will.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck it. But yeah, man, that kind of wraps up part 1 of episode 53. If you
54?
have 54, yeah. So if you've listened to part 1, check out part 2 where we'll be overviewing this upcoming fight night, and then we'll continue kind of where we left off on part 1 because it seems like we have a lot more to discuss because I'm not letting this fucking conversation go to waste. So stay tuned for part 2. We'll catch you then. Murky, catch you then, brother.
Get you on the next one.